Oh, fuck. Uh, since I've been reviewing horror films from the past decade, there have been some bad ones. So, House at the End of the Street, The Gallows, uh, very forgettable ones. Even ones that I haven't reviewed, but I've seen. Annabelle, Ouija, the next evolution step of found footage, the laptop screen POV, like Unfriended. None of them tops the fucking bullshit I just saw. 2017's PG-13 masterpiece, The fucking Bye-Bye Man. Don't think it, don't say it, don't say it, don't think it, don't fucking see it. It's on Netflix. That's the only reason why I saw this piece of shit. And yes, this is without a doubt the definition of lowest common denominator of January, like 2010's January PG-13 supernatural horror. It's directed by Stacy Tidal, who she has directed Let the Devil Wear Black, The Last Supper, and Down on the Waterfront. Never seen any of those. And written by her husband, Jonathan Penner, based on a chapter called The Bridge to Body Island, which is in a book, The President's Vampire, by Robert Damon Schneck. Holy fuck, this movie. Now, I'm not totally against PG-13 horror. I'm sure there's some that I can't think of right now that are decent. I think even some Hammer films were re-rated PG-13. There's PG horror films. Poltergeist, great example. Jaws, great example. If you want to count Gremlins, great example. Those are awesome movies. I think even The Wicker Man is PG. I could be wrong about that. I do know there was one I just saw recently, that like, an older one that was PG. This is definition PG-13. And this isn't like, and I hate to mention this movie because I think it is like the most overrated horror film ever made. The fucking Ring. The Ring is PG-13. But at least The Ring still has creepy moments. It's building towards something. Unique idea. It's a remake of a foreign Japanese film, but concept is still the same. This is like the PG-13 that is aimed at just the sort of 13 and under kids who would find a movie called The Bye-Bye Man fucking scary. Like, no hope for the audience in this. In fact, if you want to know anything interesting about this film, go over to the Cinema Snobs YouTube channel, Stone Gremlin Productions, and watch the Midnight Screenings review of this film, talking about the audience. They had to sit through a packed audience of like 10, 11, 12-year-olds screaming their ass off at every slight movement in this film. It was so bad, the screaming and the talking and the rowdiness, that the theater actually gave the adults free movie passes for having to deal with those fucking kids. Not all heroes wear capes. So what is this movie besides fucking stupid? There's these 3 college students who, I already forgot their names. Elliot, John, and Sasha. Elliot and Sasha are dating. John is a friend. Elliot is played by Douglas Smith, who he's got like that curly hair, heavy bags under the eyes kind of look that the male lead in the Elm Street remake, like he could be his younger brother. And I don't know. He was in Hangman's Curse, which is another stupid ass film. Stage Fright? Is that a... Is it Canadian? Is that a remake of the fucking... It doesn't say if it's a remake of the Italian film. Don't know what else he's in. Kind of recognized Sasha. Christina Bonas. She has been in Nothing I've Seen. Oh, that's theater. Nothing I've Seen. John, I didn't recognize. He's played by Lucian Laviscount. And the Bye-Bye Man himself, the monster of this film, is played by Doug Jones. Which... he's the pale man in Pan's Labyrinth. He was the... I never saw The Shape of Water, but I wanted to. He's the mermaid or whatever in that. Done a lot of stuff with Del Toro. The remake of Cabinet of Dr. Caligari from 2005. He was in Ouija Origin of Evil. Hocus Pocus. Okay, so yeah. The Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth is millions of miles better villain than this. And that was a supporting role. He's the main villain in this. Carrie-Anne Moss. She was in Silent Hill Revelation. Fido with... Is that the one with Bruce? Yeah, that's the one with Bruce Campbell. Disturbia. Okay. So these three friends, they move into this off-campus house, this big house. They have a party. It takes place in Wisconsin. Well, actually, it opens up with a flashback to 1969, where there's this guy played by Lee Winnell, Adam from the first Saw film, who co-wrote Saw 1 through 3, Insidious and The Conjuring, I believe, and directed The Invisible Man, and co-wrote Dead Silence. All much better films. Almost everything is a better film than this. I had more fun watching Splatter, the Roger Corman 29-minute web series film, than this. 1969, so he's got these Robert Hansen glasses and a sweater vest. He's going around to these houses shooting people, asking, did you say the name to anyone? Don't say it, don't think it. He shoots people. Present day, our college friends move into the off-campus house. They have a party. And Elliot finds this nightstand with this drawer that has, don't think it, don't say it, scratched all in it, and then big scratches, the Bye-Bye Man. And then they have this seance with this gothic friend of theirs, Kim, where she starts getting freaked out and saying, don't think it, don't say it, over and over again. And then Elliot says the Bye-Bye Man because he knows the connection. And what the Bye-Bye Man is it's this lame-ass villain who, I'm trying to think of what he reminds me of. He's just this pale guy who kind of has, like, lines, like, in his face somehow. And he just has, like, a pointy black hood, like a trench coat, gray shirt, and, like, pale, pointy fingers. He fairly normal looking. And his only real power is he alters their reality. He makes them hallucinate, hear, and see things that are not there that will make them act violently or kill each other. And whomever they say Bye-Bye Man to, it's like they're now infected with it. They now carry the baggage of the Bye-Bye Man. You know what movie came out 2 years before this? It is actually a great film that had the whole, you can spread what's following you to someone else. It Follows. That was a much better film. So, of course, Elliot doesn't really believe what's going on. Sasha gets a cold. Apparently, that's a fucking power he has. John doesn't believe anything. And this movie doesn't even go into the lore of the Bye-Bye Man. Like, it doesn't really describe his powers. There's these 2 gold coins that Elliot finds that are supposedly associated with the Bye-Bye Man. He's got this big, like, Ang Lee's Hulk from 2003. Imagine one of those CGI dogs with the same CGI, but burnt to shit. That's his hound. And he can also make you lose track of time. Like, Elliot goes to the library. And typical horror movie cliche, he goes to the main search engine and types in Bye-Bye Man. No results at all. Type in gibberish, you'll get millions of pages. Bye-Bye Man, nothing. Types in, like, don't say it, don't think it, and he gets one in, like, the archive database of the library. Gets one unpublished article that the Lee Winnell character wrote. And the funny thing is, at this point, he kind of gets the idea that you probably should be saying this shit, like, Bye-Bye Man. But Cleo King. Okay, I recognize her as the cop who's not in on it from Pineapple Express. The one that gets the slushy on her windshield. She's a comedian. At least everything I've seen her is a comedian. She's the librarian. She shows him this article, and, you know, he's not even about, like, hey, don't read this, there's some shit going on. She's just looking over his shoulders like, Bye-Bye Man, what's that? And then they just keep talking about Bye-Bye Man. And he thinks if he just goes over Bye-Bye Man in pen a couple times, it will erase it so no one else can find out about it, even though you can still read it. And, like, that's the thing. This movie is fucking insulting. Like, these people must have thought, it's called the Bye-Bye Man, it's PG-13. Like, do we really gotta be that intricate or put in that much effort into writing and making things happen? It's for young kids. They're not gonna notice. Or be like, it's for, like, the lesser intelligent kids. The more intelligent PG-13 kids will watch. I really wish I could remember a good PG-13 horror film, but I can't. At least more recently. So then he realizes that time has just gone by, and he thinks he sees Sasha and John together. He goes back to the goth girl's place, says he wants to do another seance. She gets in his car, and she's got a bloody hammer, and they're talking about how they see things. They've been having these dreams, they're seeing things that aren't there, and they're driving, and they keep seeing trains, which I'm guessing the train is a foreshadow for what's going to happen, but we see the train later on anyway. So they're driving, and she sees this overturned car with a family with kids. They're all bloody. And she keeps saying, we have to help them. So he stops and she starts running towards them. And then the train's coming. Of course, they're not really there. So it's like he's chasing after her with the hammer in his hand like an idiot. So, of course, she gets hit by the train. And Carrie-Anne Moss plays this police officer who's looking into it. And of course, she thinks Elliot did it because the conductor said he saw her crying, getting out of the car. He's chasing her with a bloody hammer. She had killed her roommate, but, and you know, of course, she's gonna pin that on him. It all gets worked out because I guess the goth girl, and he just keeps saying, like, telling Sasha and John, you know, don't say it, don't tell anybody. And of course, the cop thinks they're either on something or they're hiding something. And John is having none of it. And so they get to go. She brings John back to the station, and he doesn't really explain anything. He just says, I can't say it. It's like, you can probably explain what's going on. Yeah, you're going to sound crazy by saying that I can't tell you his name, but I know there's something going on. He just shuts down. And he starts asking her these questions like, you know, honesty is the best policy. If you saw this bad crime scene, and then you go home to your kids and they ask you how your day was, can you tell them that horrible truth, or can you keep it from them to keep them safe? And she's like fighting back tears, and it's just like, that's a really stupid analogy. And I'm guessing you're a veteran cop and has probably heard a lot of bullshit talk from a lot of people in interrogation, but this kid is going to be the one that breaks you. She lets him go because apparently the goth girl had written a suicide note. She was going to kill her roommate, the other three main characters, and then herself. So he got off. And the movie just continues, like, seeing shit. Like, he goes home. He thinks he sees the two having sex. He grabs a bat, hits John in the head, and then he realizes that's not what was going on. It's like the movie takes one step forward, two steps back, or the vice versa, however you say it. Because it's like, okay, he's starting to realize that you're hallucinating. The Bye-Bye Man is showing you all this shit, trying to get you to do stuff, get you to kill yourself or others. But he's very quick to act on every hallucination he sees. And he finds this sheet of paper with an address on it. It's the widow of the Lee Winnell character from the 60s. He goes and talks to her. Like, how have you survived all this time? And, like, what happened with him? And she tells him. He was a reporter. He found this story. Heard about the Bye-Bye Man. Talked about it to people. Once he fully realized what he had to do, he just went around killing everyone. But he didn't kill her, and the Bye-Bye Man didn't come after her because she never heard his name. Which also makes me think, okay, so they took his unpublished article, which references Bye-Bye Man by name several times. So why Bye-Bye Man still didn't come up on the computer? And she must have never proofread this. Like to say, yeah, archive this, or don't publish this. Still never read it. And this is when Elliot realizes what don't think it, don't say it means. Pretty much the Freddy Krueger method. If you don't fear him, you take away his power. She goes to poke the fire. She bursts into flames. She's already given him the gun. She says, you just got to kill them and then yourself. That's it. But he just kind of does the whole, you're not there, sees that she's fine. Gets in the car, drives to go home, thinks he sees John in the road. He's like, you're not there, drives right through. But then, of course, the librarian is there. Because earlier, the librarian called him. It was like, I've been having these strange thoughts, and can I come see you? And he's like, sure. Then the camera pans down to show that she's already killed 2 people. Later on, they say it's her kids, but it still looked like she was at the library. Why she's walking down the middle of the road, I don't fucking know. But yeah, he smokes her, rolls the car over. And oh yeah, his brother, his older brother is the one that got him out of police custody or came to pick him up. So he hobbles all the way home, and at this time, Sasha and John are waking up. She sees John as Elliot. He sees her as the train-wrecked goth girl. So he's like scared of her. She's wondering why Elliot's afraid of her. And they're running all over the house, even though he's still a little concussed from the bat. By the time Elliot finally gets there, it looks like he's stabbing her with scissors. He tries to fight him off. And then he tries stabbing him with scissors, but he shoots him, realizes it was actually Sasha. He shot his girlfriend. And John was the one that got stabbed a bunch of times with scissors and is still alive. And this movie has a lot of terrible CGI. Hell, even in the flashback to 1969, when Lee Winnell shoots a woman with a shotgun, she blasts against the wall, no blood, because it's PG-13, no blood, just a big crack in the wall. And yeah, there's bad CGI. Oh, also, earlier, there's a dream with the train, and the train sees 3 naked people, but they're back 2. So we see their asses, so it's still PG-13. If there was boobs, it'd be rated R. Because I think 2 of them were girls. I don't know, couldn't really see. But there's 3 asses. They don't explain what those are. If it's foreshadowing them. I'm sure some people will say, well, they're naked because they're vulnerable to the Bye-Bye Man now. And the train is this unstoppable force to be reckoned with. That is way more thought than this movie fucking deserves. So, while Sasha lays there dead, and there's Elliot laying there and John all bloody, we see the Bye-Bye Man's hound. The big CGI Hulk dog from early 2000 CGI walks out of this closet, walks through the very well-lit room, and then walks out of the room. You have a terrible effect. It's 2017. The same year that War for the Planet of the Apes came out, which has outstanding CGI, especially for animals. Which, okay, yes. Even for a spread, this is kind of accurate. 6.2 to 7.4 million is how much it costs. It made 26.7. It still tripled its budget. So that's a hit, sadly. But that is one of 2 times they well-lit an effect that was stupid. This CGI Hellhound looks god-awful. Like they ripped it straight from an old video game. And it walks through the well-lit room. At least if you know, a lot of movies, they'll try to keep them in the shadows to hide the imperfections. Here, they're just broadcasting it. They're just like, again, oh, it's for the dumb young kids. It's called the Bye-Bye Man. Why do we care? Yeah, have him walk through the room. The other time is in the very beginning of the film when it opens up in the 60s with Lee Winnell. Bright, sunny day, broad daylight. The Bye-Bye Man is standing in someone's living room. So we see what he looks like right away. They don't try to go like a Jeepers Creepers route or like a good horror movie route where it's like a slow build-up as to what he looks like. No, we see him broad daylight, opening scene. Hell, even after the seance, be like a hoodie hanging up on the wall across the dark bedroom, and you'll kind of see like the hand come up or the hood come up and start walking. Okay, that's kind of a cool scene. But that's all this movie is jump scares. No tension, stupid-ass characters. Lore that they don't even explain, so nothing in this movie makes sense. Because even when he's talking to the widow, the lights are shining through, like, the boards on her windows, because she's a shut-in, and you hear the horn of, like, a train, so there's still train shit. So the dog walks out, and the Bye-Bye Man just does this thing. He walks up to Elliot, and he goes like this, and he touches his forehead. And he shows him images of his older brother and his young niece, implying he's going to go after them next, even though they don't know the name. But he goes downstairs because his older brother and his niece are at the door. Apparently his brother knows something's up, thought his niece would cheer him up, so that's why they're there. He's yelling at them to go away. They won't. And apparently, when the Bye-Bye Man has got you this far into his games, you can't help but say it. Like, he keeps trying to say, go away. You know, you can't be here, go away. But it's like, he's like, bye-bye, bye-bye. Like he's compelled to say it. And still, the Bye-Bye Man is, like, coming towards him. And even before he goes see the widow, he grabs the nightstand and takes it outside. I thought he was going to destroy it or burn it. Just throws it out in the woods. The young niece says she has to pee, but they can't get in the house. So he says, well, we're out in the woods. Just go find a spot nearby so I can still see you. And just go there. So probably what's the us, the audience, to think, because this is the climax, she's going to come by and be like, look, a Bye-Bye Man drawer. Not what happens. He takes the gun, and just as the Bye-Bye Man is standing there, he shoots himself. Because he's still babbling about it. The brother is close to saying, he's like, bye-bye what? Bye-bye what? Like, through the window. He shoots himself. And as soon as he shoots himself, the house just gets lit on CGI fire. Like, the upstairs. It just starts burning. For whatever reason. Oh, this movie's so forgettable that there's just more stupid shit that keeps popping up. Like, when he's on his way to the widow or back, he's driving and he's, like, jamming out to this song, like, Bye-Bye something, and he's singing along to it. As if we're supposed to be like, oh, he's gonna slip, he's gonna say it. I thought that was stupid. And that was supposed to be suspenseful. That was fucking dumb. So the house is on fire. Carrie Ann Moss. This one cop pretty much says Elliot's responsible for everything. Even running over to the librarian, killing her kids. That's what they say, it's her kids. Carrie Ann Moss thinks there's something else. We see the brother and the niece in his truck driving away. And, you know, she says, well, I wanted to say goodbye, but at least he left me these 2 coins. Again, coins, we don't know what they mean to the Bye-Bye Man. What they signify other than, oh, that just means he's around. He's like, Where'd you get that? And she's like, in the table by the trash cans. He was like, was there anything else in it? She was like, just some writing. And we're like, uh-oh. He's like, what'd it say? And you can kind of hear the music kind of trying to... She's like, I can't read in the dark. But John is still alive. Been hit in the head with a bat, stabbed in the face with scissors, laying there in a burning building. He's still alive. They're trying to put him in the ambulance, and Carrie Ann Moss can hear him trying to say something. And that's when he's trying to get out. CGI burns on him. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And she's like, bye-bye? Bye-bye what? She just kind of looks up at the camera. Then it ends. Sequel. It is just... I really don't know if this movie is fucking lazy or if they just had no faith in the audience because it's a PG-13 film called The Bye Bye Man. This is easily one of the worst horror films I've ever seen. There are movies like Splatter, which is low budget, bad acting, but it's meant to just be a splatter film. It's not supposed to have, high quality of anything. This was like a mainstream release. Wide release, pretty much. And, just the writing was terrible. The kid that played Elliot, he's just in this wide-eyed Andy Kaufman mode, where he's just always like, really? Oh, huh? And Doug Jones, who can play good monsters. Look at the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth. All he does is literally just stand there. I can't even remember what his makeup looks like. You just do like the finger thing. The CGI is terrible. They try to do stuff like PG-13 so they can't have someone get shot with a shotgun and have blood. The only real blood in the film is when the goth girl is already dead, but she's the apparition or the hallucination. And like when we see the scissor wounds in the climax. But the CGI is terrible. The writing is nonsensical. The concept of, okay, we hear this thing. If we think it or we say it to someone, they're now a part of it. And it's going to mess with our minds to get us to do stuff. But also, it sounds like there's no real way to win. Because the Bye Bye Man is trying to... Which, first of all, if the Bye Bye Man gets you, what the fuck happens? He just touches your forehead and shows you shit. And he's trying to get you, like, show you all this stuff so either something bad happens to you, like you get hit by a train, or you attack and kill other people. So if the only way to stop him is to kill those that have heard you say it and then yourself, he still wins. It's like the season 3 episode of South Park. Two men in a hot tub. The meteor party at Mr. Mackey's house. ATF thinks it's a cult of mass suicide, and they say we got to prevent them from committing mass suicide, even if it means killing each and every one of them. Sort of like that. The end's gonna be the same, no matter what you do, which just sounds lazy. Horror movie cliches like the search engine can't find what you're looking for, except for, even though the internet is the most broad thing on the planet, yet what it does give you, there's like, it says Bye Bye Man, so how did it not register anything else? And just adding this lore, like the gold coins, and just what yes, one character does get killed via train, but there seems to be a lot more symbolism with trains. The naked people with the asses, like, it doesn't really explain anything. I don't think there's a Bye Bye Man 2 because this movie got panned hardcore by critics and it deserves it. As far as mainstream wide theatrical releases, this is one of the worst horror films I've ever seen. There are indie films that are so much smarter and well written. Like, I know there's PG-13 movies that are well written and scarier with better writing that has more faith in its audience, even if it is aimed at younger audiences, than this. I really don't know if they thought kids are stupid or it doesn't matter because they're kids. Why try? Yeah, fuck this fucking movie. The only reason I knew this was going to be bad, I knew just by the title. How can a movie called Bye Bye Man be fucking interesting or scary at all? I knew this was going to be a rant. But I haven't had a major rant in a while. So curiosity got the best of me. I was like, how bad is this fucking movie? I wasn't disappointed because I went into it knowing it was going to be fucking shit. I'm probably going to run out of time. It's going to cut off on me. So I should probably just end it here. Yeah. I mean, I thought Annabelle and Ouija and Unfriended were like the worst of the decade. They're still up there. But this, and I still haven't seen other ones like The Apparition or Wish Upon or like Ready or Not. But right now, this takes the cake for worst fucking horror film of the decade. And also why January movies usually suck. Sometimes February is better. Invisible Man was February. One of the best movies of the decade. Horror movies. In PG-13. You had two of the worst combinations. January, PG-13. And it's just the lowest common denominator of why all of those suck. And Supernatural. Fuck this movie. Fuck the Bye Bye Man. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this epic rant.